from the Drew Estate Cigar Studio in Boston, Massachusetts. Welcome to the Spare Notes series with your hosts, Matt Tabacco and William Cooper.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Spare Notes series. I'm Matt Tabacco from SmokingTobacco.com. I am live in the Drew Estate Cigar Studios in Boston, Massachusetts. I am joined by my counterpart, Kevin Acuff from SmokingTobacco.com, live from fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada in the Gurkha Cigar Studios. And from Indian Trail, North Carolina, future cigar industry Hall of Famer and legend. It's the man, the myth, the legend in the Phillies hat. In the middle tonight, it's William Cooper from cigar-coop.com. Gentlemen, how are we?
Evening.
Coop hasn't had a hype-up intro like that, probably, I don't think, ever.
It was not worthy. I was not worthy of that.
No, worthy. Come on, man.
I'm not.
That was a pretty good one, Matt. I have to say.
I'm honored.
You definitely hyped him up big time there.
Oh, it's Coop. I mean, come on.
I'm honored for the kind words.
I don't think Coop gets enough credit, you know. Like, I think Coop gets a lot of recognition, don't get me wrong. But I don't think Coop gets the credit that I think he sometimes deserves. Because, I don't know. I think he, you know, he does a lot. I think he does more than people realize. So, just
I appreciate the kind words. Thank you.
You know, a lot of what I learned from Coop, you know. And, I mean, among others, David Garofalo, honorable mention. You know, he taught me a lot, especially in the beginning, you know. I learned a lot from Carney, you know. But Coop, you know, when it comes to media, I mean, Coop was like a mentor to me. Still is in some respects, you know. So, yeah, you know.
I appreciate it.
You know.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
You got to give Coop some love.
Coop, didn't he kind of invent cigar media?
I want to say, when I started out, I was on a crusade to get rid of the word blogger.
Huh.
And
I didn't know that.
I hated the word because I thought it was very one-dimensional. And Barry Stein fought me on this for years, right? But I kind of felt that I didn't have a problem with the word blogger, except it's one dimension of what we did, right? And I actually think it was Hector Alfonso who coined the term collective cigar media that really made the change eventually. And now you don't hear blog. Now, occasionally you'll hear the word blogger, but not much anymore.
What is that?
What is what?
I don't know. It just got real loud. Someone had a bunch of background noise.
Is it my wonderful microphone here?
It might be. Okay, I don't know. You might have to upgrade that microphone. You've had some issues with it lately. Oof, that was really loud. I apologize to our listeners.
I went on mute. I don't think it was me, but
Kevin, that might have been you. And now it's gone.
I muted.
Whoa.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me reset this stuff. Sorry, guys.
Whoa. Well, I apologize for that. That was Kevin's gonna work on that. But anyway, this is our show tonight. We'll bring Kevin back into the loop once he gets that kind of sorted out. But we have a couple of things to do. Talk about, I should say, rather. First thing I want to do is I want to have just a couple of things I want to mention, Coop, if that's all right.
Absolutely, whatever you need.
First of all, I just want to give a huge. I should have fucking grabbed it and I didn't, but I have it. I want to give a huge shout out to J.C. Newman. Today we got a box of Diamond Crown Double Robustos with custom cellophane with my daughter's name and her birth date on there. Just really thank you as a gift from them. Thank you to everyone over at J.C. Newman, the Newman family, Sydney in marketing, who we work with a lot. Coop, I know you know Sydney.
We love Sydney. Yep.
Just I want to just really say, huge thank you. I really appreciate it. That was just a really nice gesture, and you know, you're gonna get J.C. Newman gets a free ad read tonight. You know, I guess. You know, but Diamond Crown, experience the Diamond Crown line only from J.C. Newman. Rolled by the Fuente family at Tabacalera Fuente Isia in the Dominican Republic. You know, I just wanted to say shout out to them. Thank you for that. We do have our giveaway, our Micallef giveaway that I will do later.
I didn't want you to forget about it this time, actually. I'm going to remind you.
Yeah.
Because you forgot to do it the last show.
I did. The last giveaway we did, I did.
Yeah.
So you know what happens on this show is it gets away from you, you know? It gets wild and you know, so But yeah, no, I won't do. I'm not gonna do it yet, but I do have the tab on my computer with the information. So we will get to that in a bit. I just wanted to save that for later in the show. And what else was I gonna mention? There was one other thing I was gonna mention, and I already forgot. Maybe it'll come back to me.
Am I fixed now?
Oh, you sound way better. There you go. That's really good. That's really good. All right, and I apologize, guys. The comments. I haven't shared any of the comments yet. I'm sorry. Just we kind of getting all situated.
Alan Rubin must be 40 behind already.
Alan Rubin is not here yet. So actually, no, he is. He said good evening.
Oh.
Allen's here. So,
Oh, yeah.
but it's the only comment he's made so far. So
Don't give him a chance to catch up.
oh man, good old Alan Rubin. Oh man. Anyway, it's gonna be a good show tonight. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Gentlemen, what are we smoking? Let's see. I'll go with you, Kevin, then we'll go to Coop, and then we'll come to me. We'll start on my screen. It's right to left, so I'm going right to left.
Right on. I am smoking the All Saints Solamente.
Oh, that's
This
a
is
great cigar.
this is my first time with this one.
Good cigar.
Is that the 23 release?
It is.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like from the band actually. The band's a little different on that. Yep.
I've been kind of sitting on this one for a special occasion, so I figure, hey, on Spare Notes with the legend Coop and my good buddy Matt Tabacco, this is as good of excuse for a special occasion as I need.
Yeah, see, there you go. And Coop's fixing his camera. What's going on here?
Yeah, I kicked it.
I've done that too. You go to stretch and you're like, damn. Anyway,
I just kicked it.
what are you smoking, Coop?
I am smoking the blackened M81 by Drew Estate in the Toro size.
Nice. So
Dark, bold, and unapologetic, right?
we have a we have a review on that cigar coming out soon. That's all I'll share, but just stay tuned.
There we go.
There's the tease. Coop's all about no teases.
You can't for the life of you, right? Keep us. Yeah.
Why does it have to be a secret that we're reviewing? It's not like I said, oh, it's going to be a good one.
You weren't going to tell me what you were reviewing before the show, even. Like,
I didn't say that. I didn't say we couldn't tell you.
We're going to have a whole conversation about keeping secrets here in just a little bit, all right?
If you want, Matt can't keep a secret for anything.
It's like trying to build. I'm trying to build up the hype, Jesus. You guys, I don't know. I don't know.
We got to start early tonight with you.
Oh God, at least
he's almost kind of reminded me of Eric Espinosa. Like, bro, I can't say nothing bad about somebody, bro.
Okay.
Bro.
But I'm gonna say this, about this guy. No, he doesn't do it. I didn't mean that. Bro.
At least Alan Rubin hasn't gotten fired up yet. That's all we that's all we need to worry about.
You mean he hasn't? I mean, his team got throttled today. By the way, throttled. So.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. We have something going on here.
Yeah.
I'm smoking from our friends at J.C. Newman and also rolled at Tabacalera Fuentesilla in the Dominican Republic. It is the Questure Cabinet cigar. This is a beautiful cigar, fantastic cigar. I don't have the pricing information in front of me right now because it just dawned on me that I probably should have grabbed that. But anyway, I grabbed the cigar because I wanted to smoke it, and that's all I was thinking about before the show. But you go find it and try it. It's a great cigar from our friends at J.C. Newman. And, gentlemen, tonight, what are we using to cut and light our cigars? None other than the best of the best. You wanted the best, you got the best. SD Dupont, be exceptional. I'm lighting my cigar with the SD Dupont Line 2. And, gentlemen, I know you have some DuPont products on your side of the tables as well.
So I am also lighting with the amazing DuPont Line 2 with the little ping. Oh, wait. There we go.
There it is. Excellence.
Yeah. And I'm going with, I love this lighter. I've had it 7 years, the Mini Jet. The SD Dupont Mini Jet.
That's a fun little lighter,
never
too.
failed. It's a fun little lighter. Actually, the one I'm using tonight is a Davidoff branded one from the Golden. They used to give these out at the Golden Band Awards.
Oh wow, okay.
And I just
cool.
love I love the white finish on this thing, and you know what's great? I mean, it's like this lighter it's almost a maintenance-free lighter. It's not a very expensive DuPont lighter I'm using, but I'm telling you, if I were to pay for one of these, I just get my money's worth. It's a no maintenance lighter. I never have to worry about this lighter in terms of I never have to clog. It never gets clogged or anything. It seems like.
Look, when
Yeah, that's actually one of the lines of lighters that, I mean, they're more expensive than obviously your garden variety, just throwaway plastic, but they are as reliable as some of those ones that you pay.
Absolutely,
the budget money
absolutely,
for.
absolutely. I've been, like I said, very, very pleased with it.
I have to just say, DuPont is, when it comes to accessories, I know there's people out there that think that the prices of some of their products seem a little extreme. But here's the thing. Like a fine automobile or a nice wine or any other kind of luxury product, right? You're buying a luxury product, okay? You're buying something that's of a higher prestige, and you're getting what you pay for. When you buy an SD DuPont, you're making a statement, okay?
Yeah.
You don't have to buy one. You don't have to believe in an expensive lighter. If you want a $14.99 lighter from Zycar, they make great lighters too, and if that's up your wheelhouse, it is. But when it comes to DuPont, it's not just the name, it's not just what it is. You're buying a very meticulously handcrafted product that's exceptional, and and you get what you get. I mean, you're talking about products that last a lifetime. Some of the sharpest cutters I've ever used in my life. Some of the most functional jet lighters that I've ever used. I've never had a DuPont jet lighter die on me. They have great customer service. I mean, there's everything about it. It's like buying a Rolls Royce. I mean, you get what you pay for. They're the best of the best, and that's simply the
Yeah,
that's,
I
that's all there
agree.
is to it.
They're pieces of art as well. I mean, and not to mention that, I mean, it's like an heirloom that you'll hand down to family when the time comes. So.
That's very true. That's very true. I still see vintage. I see line ones out there for people who are not very familiar. There was the line 1 before the line 2.
Yeah.
And I still see some of those around, and people take good care of them, and they still use them. And they're great. But anyway, I just wanted to read that off. That's our cutting and lighting tonight, brought to you by SD DuPont. Be exceptional. So, gentlemen, one of the things I wanted to bring up here before we get too deep into the cigar talk was food always seems to be a topic of conversation in this industry. I don't know what it is, but it always is. The cigar shows have turned into food shows, apparently. So I figured, why not keep that spirit alive here at Smoking Tobacco, and let's talk about yet another food thing that I discovered for the first time. I did not get yelled at, though, because I didn't fuck up and not get the cheesecake. And I actually didn't buy it. I didn't buy it. Kevin bought it. So everyone in this show here is involved because Kevin and Barbara, who I love very much, sent us a wonderful gift set box of Italian rainbow cookies, which Kevin didn't even know what they were. And I told him, you need to fucking get your life together. Because they're fantastic. Come on, Kevin, let's go. You're like, I can't believe you don't know about those. So damn. And then I didn't know and actually the name actually eludes me off the top of my head. Coop, I know you know the name of the bakery.
Yep.
Give it to me.
Venerios.
Yes.
Yep.
So he played super coy all week. I was asking people. I didn't know who it was from until you told me. By the way, I didn't know who it was until I got it. So
yeah, I didn't know who sent it you.
And so I got a notification on my UPS because I have a UPS business account. So I get notified every time someone sends me a package. And I saw that I was getting a gold belly. And I was like, huh, that's interesting. Where's that coming from? And I asked everyone I know because I don't really give my address out to anybody. So I'm like, it's got to be someone who has my address. So I asked Kevin, and he's like, no, I don't know what gold belly is. He played so dumb. I'm like, oh, all right. I didn't think anything of it. And I'm like, who the fuck is sending me food? Like, this is so random. Nicole's like, maybe it's the people at work, although the people at her work already sent us an edible arrangement. I'm like, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. And then it came, and I opened it up, and there was a message inside, and it was from Kevin and Barbara. And I'm like, son of a bitch. And I called him on the phone right away. He's like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, I already know he knows why I'm calling because
You do the worst Kevin imitation, by the
Oh
way.
yeah, I got the shipping notification, and literally, like, as soon as the shipping notification cleared my phone, it rings, and it's Matt. And I'm like, so I know why he's calling, but I'm still gonna continue to play dumb.
I call you every day, though. I mean, it's not like.
Yeah, but I mean, why? I mean, there's a coincidence with that phone call. I mean, come on.
Ugh.
But that was so hard to, like, just not even let on. And then when you bought the thing that I didn't know what Goldbelly was, I'm like, oh, this is going to be easy.
So anyway, so they come and I open it up and I take a nice picture to post on social media, and right away, you know, like Alan Rubin talking about the Yankees, Coop came out of nowhere and was like, "Oh, is that Venereo's? Oh my God!" And I was like, something tells me that if I don't say the right thing, this is going to be a Junior's cheesecake thing all over.
No,
again.
no,
And
no,
he was
no,
like,
no,
no, you did good. You did good. Like, this is a good place. And I didn't know anything about it. And it's funny, Coop, I don't know if I told you this, but when I asked Kevin, I go, so, like, do you know this bakery? Did you pick it random? And Kevin said that he kind of picked it random. So it kind of was like no one really knew what they were getting, but you know the place really well. And you were like, man, this place is like a gem. And I figured I'd leave you the opportunity to talk it up tonight.
Yeah, Venereo's is located in the East Village of New York. It's on 11th Street. And, you know, Matt, when you showed me the notification, I said, hey, Matt, you could probably tell where it's from because of where it ships out of, right? But what was interesting is this shipped out of the Goldbelly offices, right? I'm like,
Yes.
That's weird, right? Because the Goldbelly offices are in New York, and they're on the west side. They're not too far from there. So they must have, like, literally picked that up from there and shipped it from their office, right? That's kind of, I guess, what happened with that.
Yeah.
Because that explained it. So I know this place well because Matt, this is a place, I gotta be honest, Junior's Cheesecake you should have known. I'm gonna be honest with you, okay? I mean, someone should have helped you out with Junior's
Here we
Cheesecake.
go. Here we go.
Venereo's this is more of a niche place. You have to know the neighborhood and everything like that. And when I worked in New York for a while, I covered all the New York State, all the New York City agencies, and a lot of times we would meet at Venereo's for coffee in the morning before we tackle. You know, my partner would tackle some of the sales calls for the day in the city agency. So, and then funny thing is, I used to go smoke in the afternoon at a place called Florio's, not too far from Venereo's either. So Florio's was a Italian restaurant that had a smoking lounge upstairs. So I know the area. They're known for their cannolis, by the way. Venereo's cannolis are probably the thing that they're most known of. But the rainbow cookies, I've had them. They're really good. I mean, this was a very good pick. But it's not something, unless you really know New York, either you have to live in Manhattan or know this area to know this place. But if you know this place, you know what you're getting, is what I'm saying. So I did know this place.
So that actually makes me actually kind of trust Goldbelly, because I just went on and I searched for, you know, the Italian rainbow cookies. I searched for the highest rated ones, and that's what popped up. So
they're really good. They're really good. Yeah.
So that's what they got. I knew nothing of the cookie. I knew nothing of the bakeries. I mean, there was several bakeries on there that offered them, but that one was so much significantly higher rated than everyone else that was the obvious choice.
I also never drop hints for like stuff that I want, because I don't usually like. It's not that I don't like gifts. What? What'd you just say?
You never drop hints.
The cigar industry stuff is different, but
okay.
When it comes to like gifts, right? Like I don't usually drop hints about gifts and stuff, because I don't need gifts, right? You know, I'm lucky enough that I can buy all my own stuff, and I don't need people to buy stuff for me, you know. But after getting an edible arrangement the other day as a gift for the baby, I was just really in the mood, and I was like, damn, if anyone wanted to give me some rainbow cookies, that would be fucking tit. And like Kevin did, and I was like, oh shit, that actually worked out.
Well, that's just to your point. You never drop hints about anything. Even when we talk on the phone, you never really say anything. You know, I'd like to have this, or like to have that. So you said that, I'm like, well, done.
Yeah, see,
rainbow cookies it is.
I told you, I when it comes to gifts, I don't like, you know, I just, because I don't need gifts. People don't have to buy me anything. It's all good. But, like, I was like, man, I can't, I don't have time to run over to Mike's right now. So, maybe, I don't know. Like, Kevin came through. I gotta give it to him.
Rainbow cookies, good stuff.
Go ahead,
yeah. I was going to say good stuff is rainbow cookies, yeah.
Well, Coop, he had told me he had never had rainbow cookies. Like, I didn't even know what those were. And I was like, what?
I've never had rainbow cookies.
It's a Northeast thing for sure, is what I'll say.
Kevin, the Italians
Okay,
built Las Vegas. There's probably like a dozen off strip, like
Yeah.
no
Oh,
tourist
there's
shit.
Italian bakeries here for sure.
See,
so
yeah,
I'm definitely gonna have to go
and
find
Go to some
some.
local Italian bakeries and get some, all right? And
Yeah.
don't be afraid to shop around because everyone makes them a little different. Some
Yeah.
people are stingy
And
with the raspberry, and that kind of sucks.
But what I'll say, Matt, is okay, we're not gonna get blamed for this because first you were sent this, right?
Yep.
Second, you were in Junior's Cheesecake and opted to go to Cinnabon. I mean, that was what the cardinal sin you committed was. You were there.
I
Okay? You
did
didn't
not
get the
know. I did not know that
Someone should have intervened on you. I'm not blaming you on that one. Someone in there said, "What? You don't want to try our cheesecake? It's a world famous Junior's Cheesecake."
Yes, Alan Rubin. I know what a black and white cookie is.
Oh yes, Alan. Thank you. By the way, I get good black and white cookies down at
So
Brooklyn Water
sarcastic.
Bagel in Florida. By the way,
Yes, Alan. Thank you.
yeah. Kevin, have you been to Brooklyn Water Bagel in South Florida?
I'm not.
That's something you got to when you get down there. They're in the Palm Beach area. They're around Boynton Beach and all that.
Okay.
They have unbelievable bagels, but they do have great black and white cookies. I always pick up a few of them when I drive back home from there.
I've actually heard of that place. I have not been there. Because I want to say Abe or somebody that recommended it to me when we were down there before. Maybe
Yeah, I
it's one
took
of the
I took
smoking
Ben
guys.
there, and he's a new man after being there. Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to like Italian bakery, rainbow cookies, black and white cookies, Lacey's, champagne cookies, the almond cookies, those are good. You can't go wrong.
I wouldn't put black and white cookies in the Italian bakery category, would you?
No.
Well, no, but
I
it's,
wouldn't.
it's one
I
of those
wouldn't,
things
no.
that when I go to a bakery, like an Italian bakery, that's a good bakery, and if they got them, like I'll get them because I like those. I like an
Yeah.
assortment. When I go to a bakery, like I don't get like a little bag. I walk out of there with a box because I like to eat.
One of the best black and white cookies I ever had came from Mary's Coin Laundry in Miami when I got a Cuban sandwich.
Mm.
They had some amazing black and white cookies there.
I imagine I haven't had a good Cuban sandwich in a while.
The place right across from El Tita and the Bronze. We had Willie Herrera on the other night. He even said that's one of the best places to get him, and I agree. It was great
we
stuff.
have a destination for when we go to Miami in November.
Oh, I'm going to be down there too.
Yeah, we're going for
Yeah,
Lizona Palooza.
We're going too. Ben and I are going down.
Sweet.
Oh, look at that! Look at this. It's like a little, little group trip happening.
So I
right
think
here.
I think we're definitely gonna be making a Miami little Havana run. So yeah, we'll definitely have to keep you posted on that.
So
where we
cool.
are.
Oh, for sure. That would be fun.
This will be Miami trip number 8.
I think 9.
So you
8
going
or
for the
9.
record?
No, the record's already been set. This has been the record. Yeah, I don't envision going to Miami before November at this point though. I am going to Texas next week, and then it looks like we're taking my wife and I are going to be going to Tennessee in October. So I don't see a Miami trip coming.
Okay.
We're going to be going into the Smoky Mountains, get a cabin out there, which is some of the most beautiful country. So.
Oh, especially that time of year, that's going to be an awesome trip.
It's the best time of the year to go. And they have like Dollywood and stuff out there, so there's a lot of things to do out there too.
Oh shit! Jay Davis is with us tonight, and so is Dan Thompson. And Jay reminded me, let's give a happy anniversary to Dan Thompson. 17 beautiful years.
Congratulations, Dan.
Congratulations, Dan. I did see that earlier. I had a very busy day, but I did see it in my scroll. And thank you, Jay, for reminding me because I wanted to give Dan a nice shout out.
Absolutely, Mr. and Mrs. Thompson. Best wishes.
Happy anniversary.
That's right. That's right. Dan, what's the secret? How'd you make it last this long? What can you share with us? But anyway, yeah. So that's kind of like our little. Sorry, we got all jangled here. We went from talking about food to Lizona Palooza and then Miami, and I forget where we were at. Oh yeah,
we were talking about. We were finishing up the Gold Belly segment.
Yeah, the Gold Belly segment. That's right.
Yep.
We should get a food sponsor for this show. I mean, seriously. I mean, we spend so much time talking about food now. You know,
Yeah, it's true.
get a food company to sponsor us.
Yeah,
Why does it have to only be cigar companies? You know, it's not exclusive.
and they have the money, the food companies too.
Yeah, I know. That's true. Coop, you want to talk about free samples? I mean, food free samples is where it's at. I mean, you get to eat for free.
Oh,
Come on.
yeah,
Come on.
yeah.
There's nothing better than
Absolutely.
free food, right?
Right.
Hey,
No, but somehow you're-
$4.99 is the best price in the world.
Free FREE.
Especially when it comes to food, though, you know?
Yeah, but it's a cardinal sin in the cigar world that you ask for a free sample. It is a cardinal sin. Just remember that.
Oh, God
You
forbid.
should be flogged. You should be flogged. You should be shamed because you asked for a free sample.
I got flogged and shamed for turning down a free sample. Does that count?
No. That's a rarity.
I know that story. That wasn't Kevin's fault. So, I'm not gonna get into it though. But anyway, Coop, why don't we
Yes.
why don't we get to this now? Because I wanna have fun with the rest of the show, and this might be a little
Okay.
more of a serious tone. You already know where
Okay.
I'm going at, but why don't you get to it now?
Yeah. So, I love one thing I do like about this show is, we get a lot of great feedback from our audience either during the show, but occasionally we get the feedback after the show. And there was some feedback on our segment we were doing last week. And this was in regards, Matt, to when we were talking about the issue of, and it was in particular Nova Cigars, and we were talking about how Nova Cigars basically bypassed the media and chose to go directly to the PCA to give information about a cigar they were releasing at the show. And in fact, they also gave PCA the cigar to review, right? And, we basically, Matt and I basically were not happy about that, and neither was most of the media about that, right? Because we just felt it was bypassing the media here. And we got into a little bit of a discussion on this, right? And it led to it. First of all, Matt, we may have to cut this into 2 weeks because I have a lot on this tonight. Okay.
I
it
got
led
nothing
to a
but time.
comment.
Let's do it.
Yeah, but if you guys need to cut this, just shut me up at some point, okay? Because I have a lot to talk about with this.
Okay.
It led to a comment by someone by the name of Luigi Napolitano, 2851. We'll just call him Luigi. And I'm going to read the comment outright, and then I'm going to go into my response to each component of this.
I'm gonna get
And
my drink ready.
there's a
This is gonna
couple.
be good.
Yeah, there's like 3 comments. I don't even think we'll get to the second and third tonight, but let me at least get to the first one. We'll see what happens. So he starts out, Coop, I love you. But the fact that you feel these companies are obligated to go to the media and let you guys know when things are happening is preposterous. You're a journalist. Go find the story. The manufacturers have no obligation to give you the stories. It's your job to go find them. You have no issues going to other media outlets for news, as you admitted here with Half Wheel. Maybe there's a reason these cigar makers don't go to you. The same reason you don't go to them. You're not a big enough draw. They don't get the ROI from giving you info, just like you do. The fact that you're doing a PCA recap a month and a half after the PCA ended is Exhibit A. Stories are passing you by because you're working on something that happened a month and a half ago. You need to be more proactive and stop expecting brands to feed you stories. There's a reason Half Wheel gets the story first. This is the first of 3 comments I'm gonna talk about tonight. All right, I want to break this down line by line here. Okay, but before I do that, I felt that Luigi's comments, and there's a couple more that followed after this, are showing me he either doesn't follow my site close enough or not at all. But on the flip side, I don't think he understands how I operate. And if you read that, Half Wheel's words were used about 4 or 5 times, probably in that. Like that's 2 times. 2 times. So I think he's trying to compare me to Half Wheel, which I don't think is a fair comparison. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break down these things. I'm actually curious on Kevin and Matt's input as I break this down. Tell me if I'm right or wrong here. So the first thing I'm going to say is The fact that you feel these companies are obligated to go to the media and let you guys know things are happening is preposterous. No. I'm going to give you a straight out. The answer is absolutely not. They're using the media to promote their products. Using the media as a way to promote their products such that maybe they don't have to go and spend advertising money to do it because they can get the word out for free through the media. So in my book, okay, I do feel companies are obligated to give you that. Now, if there's a story that you have to in terms of products, I think. Now, if there's a story you're trying to develop, right, and you're trying to get information for maybe a more of a theme type of story, maybe something around the FDA or something, then you have to do a little more investigative journalism, right? But the idea is, no, these companies, they should be feeding the media because what happens when you go to a trade show, guys, and you didn't cover this company? What do they say to you? Oh, how come you're not covering me? I'm like, you didn't tell me about it. How come you covered my cigar? Did you tell me about it? Now, let me kind of break this down a little more. On Coop, right, I would say 80% of my traffic come from 20% of the companies. It's that 80-20 rule. So for the most part, when I have to go, and about the amount of content I do on news, it's about half and half from press releases and not press releases. Matt, how many times have you asked me, did you get a press release on this, right? You've asked me this a lot of times, right? Because sometimes you haven't gotten it, right?
Well, you like to check in with everyone else to say, like, well, who's getting sent what, and making sure everyone's on the same page.
Yeah. Right, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? But how many times have I told you, no, I didn't get this from a press release. I kind of worked this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this guy say I'm not going to find the stories, it's kind of ridiculous. The thing is, when I'm going to find the stories, what I'm doing is I'm focusing on those 20% of the companies. I'm not focused. Look, I'm sorry. It's nothing against Nova. I am not going to be spending cycles to get something to Nova that's already been given to the PCA and already reported by the PCA. So, for example, Luigi, did you read that we broke the story on the conviction by Rocky Patel? That's right. The conviction was first on the Coop site, right? That was a major release at the trade show. You didn't read that in Half Wheel. You didn't read that in Cigar Aficionado. But if you were reading Coop, you know that story came from us first, before anybody else. Weeks before anybody else, we had that story. All the Steve Saka stuff was reported back in March, right? So I want you to kind of hold that thought, Luigi, because you kind of made some accusations about being a month and a half behind, and I want to get to, right? So I do think, okay, I do think that the manufacturers have a responsibility. And my question to you guys is, am I wrong on that? Do they have a responsibility to tell the media about this stuff?
Kevin, you go first.
I'm going to say
and I'm
yes,
okay if you disagree with me. I'm okay
100%.
if you disagree with me. I'm okay if you disagree with me on this, guys. Just so you know.
No, I agree 100%. And it's ironic that you actually just said that because Dan Thompson, in the comments here, I don't think Matt's put it up yet, but Dan Thompson, he agrees 100%. That's what we're there for. That's the purpose. It's their outlet to get their news out to the masses, and that's what we're there for. So, come on, it's not.
That's why I have an issue with the PCA doing media and having their media person going out there and competing for stories on behalf of the PCA with the actual media outlets when it's our job to get the story out there for you. That's how this. Everyone has a role. Factories make cigars. Brands either have factories or they buy them from factories and they market them and they sell them. Sales reps are on the road. They sell them. The PCA does all the legislative stuff. They put on a trade show to raise money and they sell membership and all that. But the media's job is to convey information. That is our fucking job, okay? And that's how I'm going to say it because it's true. That is our job. And I feel like a lot of people have forgotten about that. And I will say, shame on Nova because I know those people, all right?
Shame on them too.
And I
agree.
like them. But respectfully, I got to be fair here because also being in the media is about being fair. Shame on them because they did not handle that situation well. And I know that everyone else who's reputable media, or at least the people who were in the room of the press conference at the trade show back in July, I know they all felt the same way. So, and in fact, it was Patrick Legreed who asked the board at the meeting about specifically Nova and that situation. So shame on them, because I don't even really blame the PCA 100% on that one. Like, I blame Nova as the brand for being like, oh, we're only going to go over there and just like fuck everybody else. Essentially, is how it felt. So that's where I stand on that issue.
I mean, we don't know if that was the intent behind how they did what they did, but that's the result.
That's how
of
it.
what they
That's
did,
how
what
it
they
goes
did.
for us.
I agree with you. Shame on them for doing that, because I mean, even if it wasn't your intent to screw somebody over, you still screw somebody over. So shame on you for screwing somebody over.
Yeah. Oh, I want to point out, Luigi, the Padron, your cigar to your sampler was also broken by Cigar Coop. In case you didn't know that one either. That's a pretty big company. And some of these companies, they don't send press releases, by the way.
Padron doesn't.
Padron doesn't, right? Fuente occasionally sends it. Sometimes they don't.
It depends on what it is. Product releases, they usually don't. It's usually for other things.
It's usually for the other things, right? So I mean, we cover those types of things. These are things that we do cover. But for example, you had a story today on Smoking Tobacco from a company that I have been trying. That there's a small company that is not on this company. We don't have the press release on Coop because for 5 years I've been trying to get on their mailing list, right? And they're such a small company, right, that there's a point where I just say, you know what, I'm pulling on the rope at this point. How much am I, every time they put out something, what am I going to do, call them up and try to get the information from them when now it's too late? So I'm not, sometimes there's a reason why we're late, is we're not on the list, but there's not a lot of those cases, is what I want to say. There's not a lot of those cases where I'm saying we're late to the party. Other times we're late is because we're embargoed for a long period of time from getting the press release. And that leads to the next comment, okay? You have no issues going to other media outlets for news, as you had admitted, with Half Wheel. We don't do that with Half Wheel, by the way, because Half Wheel's never blocked us, embargoed us on a story. So what we won't do is we won't go to Half Wheel and say, Half Wheel reported that the Bocock brothers are released, and this Bocock brothers actually wasn't the company, but the Bocock brothers are releasing these container things, right?
Those are cool, by the way. Just want to say that.
Right.
Those are cool. I like that.
The reason is Half Wheel doesn't. I don't do that. I don't need to do that because they never embargo us, right? They've never embargoed us and even blocking us.
Right.
However, maybe they for an hour or two, that's fine. But print magazines have embargoed us. You got to understand that. And we're prevented from touching this story for 48 hours at times. And we can't even if we put the story up, we have to kind of reference where we got the story from, which is the print publication. And often we can't put the picture in there, right? So there's things that happen. So that's the case where I talked about where if I have no issue going to another media outlet, it's only if we're completely blocked on that story that we don't do it. And it's got to be something, again, that's newsworthy. I'm sorry, as cool as the containers were, the Bocock brothers were not a newsworthy story in my book. I'm being honest here. But that's just me, right? But that wasn't, by the way, that wasn't the company I'm talking about. So you can, maybe if folks want to figure it out and they go to smokingtobacco.com, I'm not going to say it. But
look at that. Cigar Coop's a real friend. He's even promoting smokingtobacco.com. That's a real friend.
Well,
that's a real friend.
In fairness with the Bocock brothers, I don't think we were on that press list, so I tried to get on it today. It's not like I've been trying for 5 years and then talked to the owner of the company and have asked to get on there and still can't get on there. And then he wonders why we're not giving him coverage, right? There's a point where you just say, it's enough. You're not getting me the traffic, right? So I have to focus on those companies in that 20% range that are giving me the traffic, right? That's driving my website. All right, so here's the next one. Maybe there's a reason these cigar makers don't go to you. The same reason you don't go to them. You're not a big enough draw. They don't get the ROI from giving you info. Okay, this is the one where the gloves are coming off here. Okay, I have never talked publicly about our absolute traffic numbers on Cigar Coop. I may talk about a relative increase we've had, but I have never talked about our numbers publicly. I have disclosed my numbers to companies, sponsors and non-sponsors. I have disclosed numbers to them in the confidence of that, okay? So all I know is, Luigi,
I don't know.
You must have gotten hold of.
I don't know. I don't know. Hold on one second. I don't know what the fuck just happened. There we go. I don't know what I clicked. We were all just
yeah.
Sorry. Keep going.
Yeah. It's okay. So I don't know where you base these numbers off is my question here, right? To you, actually. Where did you come up that I don't have an ROI? Where did you come up that I'm not big enough, right? I'm trying to understand it. You made this statement, right, saying I'm not big enough. I'm not a big enough draw, and I don't bring the ROI. Where did you get that from? Because here's the thing. I got over 20 sponsors, right? I've been very good at retaining our sponsors. We've had increase in traffic for 13 straight years. Now, I will say we grew 29% last year, which was huge, right? We had a huge increase. So there's companies that do, and if company said, hey, I want to work with you in news, and they asked me for my statistics, I'll give it to them. And oh, by the way, it's a Google Analytics report, so you know it's totally legitimate is what I'm doing here, right? So I don't know where you got this comment from or where your basis was for your comment. Your comment is off base, is what I'm saying. How dare you say that I don't have an ROI, and how dare you say I don't have these numbers when you don't have any evidence of this? If you have the evidence, share it with me. I'd love to know, because you can't just shoot from the hip and say I'm not big enough. And look, am I bigger than aficionado? No. Am I bigger than half wheel? No. But I don't think I'm small either, right? I think I've been doing this for 13 years. I think I'm knowing where I am, right? If you just say they're not getting an ROI from me, I don't understand it. And a lot of times the ROI is, all you got to do is send me the same info you sent to someone else, right? So the ROI is minimal in most cases, unless you're using the approach of a company that what I call does lazy marketing. And what lazy marketing is they don't want to write a press release. They'll go to one media source to write their press release, and after that they will take that press release and they'll use it in their own marketing collateral, right? Now, I've gotten away from a lot of that in recent. What happens with me is if a company wants me to write their press release, right, for them, they have to agree to look, you can't share that with the world, right? You can't. It's an article at that point. If you want me to write your press release for you, you have to pay me to do that. You know what I'm saying? I can't give you my article to give to my competition. That's just not fair. So a lot of times, I won't take that approach with it. It's the answer. And I know there's one company out there that, they're mad at me because I won't play ball like that with them. But they've taken another media brand's so-called press releases or articles, and then they send them out to their retailers. So I won't play that game with them on that. So I just wanted to kind of, like I said, I'm not saying I'm the biggest drawer out there, but to make a comment like that with no factual substantiation out there, I'm like Missouri, guys. Show me that I don't have a good ROI, and I'll be the first one to listen here. All right.
Here, I mean, like I took that guy's comments as basically if you're not aficionado or half wheel, you ain't shit and
You're not
shouldn't be doing it,
yeah,
which is 100% wrong. I mean, that is just like, dude, wake up and see what's out there and see what we do.
Yeah.
I mean, read our posts, watch our coverage, see what we do.
Yeah.
The one thing I'll say is, Half Wheel and Aficionado, they've been around a long time, and they have great reach. Obviously. But that doesn't mean that the rest of us, aren't as good or don't cover ground. And not to mention the fact that the rest of us still get access and go through doors and have relationships and have experiences with things that still most people don't get.
Yeah.
Most people who still operate in cigar media do not have. And that's not me. I'm only saying that as an example of, you don't see and hear everything that we all do.
Right.
And you don't know everything that we know, or you don't realize. But there's more to me and Coop, as an example, than I think people realize. That if they did know how much stuff we were involved in and all of that, oh shit, oh wow, there's a lot of things that we don't share every detail, but we have access to, and because people do respect us and they like what we do and they trust us, and it's because we've built that reputation and relationships and whatever you want to call it. It's multiple facets, but that's the reality. And I can tell you, I know the Coop team works hard every day on their shit. I know Kevin will tell you. I mean, Kevin will tell you how I am with the guys. I don't fuck around. And he'll tell you.
No, and that's another on a whole other point to what you're saying too. Is, I mean, on top of like the stuff that goes on behind the scenes that the majority of the people don't know about.
I mean, I work 50, 60 hours a week at a real job on top of having to spend the time to do this. And I mean, it's just, you find the time to make it work. I mean, we don't have, the resources of the teams and stuff to go out and cover everything in what some people consider a timely manner. I think we do a great job to get the coverage out that we get when we get it.
The other thing I think you got to remember too is that the boys at Half Wheel, who again I have nothing but respect for, I know all of them and they're great. They do this full time. Okay, so like their regular job, like what they do all day, is this. So they have all day every day to be calling manufacturers and rating and digging for information. The rest of us have regular jobs that we do, and then like Kevin said, and on the whatever free time we have, we spend on this. And I'll tell you, Charlie and Brooks, back in the day, they were like any other cigar bloggers, and they put in the time, and they wanted it, and they built up a business where that's what they do full time now. So, and they've been around longer than we have, and so of course, like they're at that point. The rest of us are getting there slowly but steadily. We are getting there. I mean, I don't share a lot of the smoking tobacco back end stuff because it's not really like a topic of conversation.
We don't.
But we review the analytics, and I can tell you year after year after year we have multiplied and multiplied and multiplied and multiplied, and we're still multiplying, and we're still growing, and we're getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and anything takes time, and with time, I mean, I can tell you right now that we are on a trajectory to be there. And there's a lot of stuff that is being worked on in the background, at least at Smoking Tobacco, that a lot of people don't know about. And don't discount us.
This was a real. This comment about big enough and not ROI was just. I understand you're saying I'm not as big as Half Wheel, but to make a comment like that when you have no substantiation of what my back end business is, right? Shame on you. I mean, that's just. I mean, I gotta be honest. It's almost borderline slanderous in my book, right? To say something like that, right? So, I mean, that's just wrong, okay? And like I said, I'm not obligated to disclose my numbers, and I won't do that. But I could tell you, you could talk to companies, and they obviously have seen the numbers. Is what I could tell you. So, and there's certain companies we provide the numbers to every month. Okay, so we give them an analytics report every month on that because they want to see very detailed analytics on this stuff. So we have it. Let me kind of address this third. Well, there's more to come after this. This is just the first comment. So he says the fact that you're doing a PCA recap a month and a half after the PCA ended is Exhibit A. Stories are passing you out because you're working on something that happened a month and a half ago. All right, let me address that one. I think because this one's a little more of you're trying to compare us to Half Wheel a little, okay? And I can understand maybe where this one came from. The answer is we're not covering stories a month and a half. If you have followed the way we do coverage on Cigar Coop, it's very product-centric. It's very granular to the product level. How many times have you seen stuff before the trade show and after the trade show we say, this cigar's coming out at the trade show, but this cigar was released at the trade show afterwards. Perdomo 30 is a great example of that, right? So that did not take a month and a half to do. We try to do as much as we can before the show, and I try to get that done 2 weeks after the show. If you saw something that was reported on for the first time by Cigar Coop a month and a half ago, please share the link with me. I'd love to know where we were a month and a half behind on reporting on the product. Now, here's where I think he's getting confused. We have our booth recaps, okay, which are called PCA reports, okay? Those are classified as not news. If you look in our classification, they're classified as feature stories, okay? Meaning they're not really meant to be as timely, right? Now, I don't know if I've ever explained how we do the booth reports on Cigar Coop. I think we do it differently than you guys. Like, you guys did a great job, for example, of describing the booth, right? This is how it was, right? I tend to look at mine as a little, how can I put it? State of the company report, right? Is kind of the way I've written mine. So I do a PCA report on EP Carrillo. It's kind of like the state of EP Carrillo, right? We saw them at the trade show. This is what they have, and here's where I think the themes are. Here's where I think their strategies and visions are. Those are not things that need to be released like 2 days after the trade show. Okay, so we kind of spread those out in our PCA reports, and they did go out a month and a half, right? But you can't do 90 of those like we did this year. You just can't, right? So I think if you're comparing our PCA reports to the half wheel ones, they are going to be a month and a half behind. However, if you go onto the big board and you look at those individual products, and when you reported on those products, I think for the most part we reported on them pretty timely. I think we did it, and there was plenty of products that we reported on that weren't press release related. So this is one where all right, I'll give you, he may be a little confused on that one, but that's where I'm just telling you is if you're comparing our PCA reports, half wheels were designed to be more of news ones. They wanted to get those out quick right after the show. That's how they did. But ours were not as much. Those PCA reports aren't meant to rehash what we did in the product reports. They're more meant to say, here's what the company's doing. Another good example was we did the Fords one. We talked about like Mac Booth's first year at Ford's, right? It wasn't really as much as talking about Johnny Tabacco. We had a separate article on that. It was more talking about those types of things. Not something you really need to kind of get out that quick, but it's spread out. So that's where that came from. So I wanted him to. That's where I think we're being compared to half wheel, and it's not really fair because we operate differently there.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I'll say is everybody kind of does. Look, everybody does trade show coverage. Okay.
Yeah.
There are some people that go to the trade show and they just do video interviews. We did that in the very beginning because we were still kind of figuring it out. But now we do written pieces as well. We do video and we do written pieces. We can't get everything because of the capacity that we currently have, but as I said, that's constantly changing year after year.
We had to cut down booths, and I'm gonna get to a comment in a minute on this. Yeah.
And so we try to cover as much as we can, and we try to cover the stuff that we know is going to get the most traffic first. Obviously, I'll be very honest with you because in our business, that's how it works. It's about the traffic.
Right.
So we have to try to cover the most traffic stuff first. And then from there, we do the best we can. But, we can't cover every single booth in a written piece, even with the videos.
Yeah.
I mean, the guys we covered a lot of ground this year at the show. But, with the videos. But with the write-ups, we got a good amount out. But, we can only do so much. And then you get to a point where, it's like, all right, we need to move on to other things and utilize the manpower that we have for other things we have going on.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
we have a lot of work to do, still, but it was my first year really on this end of it, being able to do that, and I got to say it was absolutely overwhelming. The amount of work that's required after, with the team that we have and the capacity that we have, you just can't get it all out there, and then it leaves you to. Then you got to pick and choose, and then, is so-and-so going to be pissed off that we didn't put this out, or so-and-so pissed off that we didn't put that out, and it's just it creates a whole nother conundrum,
So I'll be honest with you guys. I mean, so the trade show stuff ended, and then we get into August, to now, and my team was told, look, we got to start looking at end of the year stuff because there's a lot that we got to. Still check in with
next month.
End
of the year is the end of October for both of us. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like we got stuff to do. Yeah. We're also and I'm not really going to comment a lot on this, but just for the sake of the conversation to prove a point, Smoke and Tobacco is currently in the process of rebuilding its website, and it's going to be a massive redevelopment. So my guys are also preparing to deal with that. So I need them to be focused on end of the year stuff, finishing what reviews they need for the year, and then preparing to go to a new website. So there's a lot of stuff that we're busy with in our spare time. So and anybody who knows anything about those things knows that is a lot of work. So that's kind of like where we're at.
This is like a second full-time job for me. I mean, I am so thankful that my loving wife Barb is understanding and supportive of it and enjoys cigars as much as me.
Same.
So while I'm in here working, she can sit here and enjoy, and we can still spend time together while I'm, doing this on the back end. Because you come home from after a 10-hour day at work and spend 4 to 6 hours doing this. It gets tiring real quick, but it's what has to be done to get it out there.
Yeah. I'll wrap up this first comment, and then I want to get to a second comment. He says, you need to be more proactive and stop expecting brands to feed you stories. There's a reason Half Wheel gets the story first. Again, what I'll just say on that is I think it's, again, we aren't, that's not the case. It's just probably these small companies, I do expect them to be more proactive and feed me the stories. If you're a store exclusive, you better damn feed me the story, or you're not even gonna. And you better feed it to me the same day, and you better feed it to me before it's on the shelf. Otherwise, I ain't doing it. So I mean, there is different levels of expectation I have with that. Look, am I gonna go to Carlito Fuente and no? He's got the relationship with Aficionado longer than I've been smoking cigars. So of course I'm not gonna do that, right?
He's had the relationship
But
with
I know
Aficionado longer than I've been alive.
He's believe me, there's things with that, But if you're a company that's around for 3 months, 6 months, and we try to reach out to you, and we don't get the response. And look, this is where it's going to get into the next comment here, because Luigi's second comment to me, and there's a lot of comments, but I'm only going to read 3. This is the second of the 3. The first one was a big one. This is a short one. You cannot dismiss a booth at the show, then get mad when they don't send you a press release. No, it's the other way around. The only way why we dismiss a booth at the show is basically we have to have the relationship with them, or maybe we'll try to get the relationship with them, but it's prioritized. And if you're a newer company and you haven't been talking to us for 361 days of the year, I can't now suddenly use those 4 days to suddenly get to know you. When we have a lot of mechanisms on Coop to try to get you to communicate with us. We reach out to companies beforehand. We have a virtual trade show every year, right, where you have an opportunity to talk about your products. And we've also told any company, if we miss you at the trade show, give us if you want some coverage, we'll get on a Zoom call and do it. We've made ourselves very available, right? But I can dismiss the company and I made the comment because I dismissed Nova, right? When Nova did that, they immediately lost prioritization. I can't do anything about that. It's like, what do you want me to do? If I suddenly now spend time on Nova, now I'm taking away from someone who has been taking a lot of time to try to get to know us and work with us better. It's just the reality of that. It's not to be cruel. It's not to be vindictive. It's the reality of the business is we only have a finite amount of time at this trade show, and we have to figure that out. And at that point, we just had to put them. They would just lower on the queue at that point. There was nothing we could do. We didn't want to skip them, but it's the reality.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing too is, and the trade show just got a little bit shorter, too. So we have even less time next year. And I have to say,
we talked about it last time. Yeah.
I have to say, I got to give credit where credit's due. Alan just made probably one of the best comments on this show that he's probably ever made, because it's true. If you're a small company, you should be putting in the work to get press releases to as many media as possible.
Yeah.
If you're not doing that, then you're not doing your job and unlikely to grow. That's probably the smartest thing that Alan has ever said to me.
And he actually said something smart this morning too. On
I gotta give it to him.
Hey,
Come on, you guys are gonna have a swelled head.
Yeah, I know. You can't give him too much.
What's in that pub sub?
To the points that he just made, though,
he's
I've
right
been
on.
I've been involved in a lot of industries in my years. This industry, as I've seen, is probably like relationships in this industry are everything.
Yeah.
If you don't have them and you don't build them, you're going nowhere.
Yeah.
And that's, just bottom line. That's all it is. You got to put in the work to build the relationships.
Yeah.
I'll be transparent with you. There was really only, I think, one booth at the trade show where I actually told the guys, don't even go, because of a lot of reasons. Because they don't give us the time of day. They've been disrespectful to me and to my guys. And so I'm like, all right, well, and they're a smaller brand. So I'm like, all right, well, guess what? We're not going to cover you. And whatever, we'll move on, because instead of wasting the time there,
I think we skipped that booth too, just so you know. So
I think we did too, and probably for
we
very
did too.
similar reasons.
We did too. Very similar reasons. Yeah, I know what company you're talking about too. We don't need to bring it up, but yes, I agree. We did.
The only thing I will say about it is I wish I saw more of the owner of that brand in their promotion than some of the other people that seem to think that the company's all about them. That's all I'm gonna say. But
understood. Let me get to the third comment, because this is one, Matt, that's going to totally boil. You're just going to blow a gasket on this third one, okay? And this is Luigi. I'm not going to read all. This is the last of the comments I'm going to read from Luigi.
Well, Bear made a good point, too. Sorry, Bear made a good point. Not to mention it's the best traffic of the year.
It is.
Yeah, of course.
100%.
Yeah. Here,
Go ahead.
But this one you're going to love.
Go ahead.
Here's what's funny. You got all upset when you found out a PCA Platinum Nova cigar was in a newsletter. but you have no problem when the said newsletter posts stories that you wrote. You have no problem when the PCA promotes your site by posting your publications, but when you're left out of something, it's an issue. Without the PCA, there's no Cigar Coop, there's no Half Wheel. They posted your story, and they're giving you a platform to spread your writing, and you're upset because they posted about a cigar made for them that didn't include you. Maybe you should stop posting your publications. Matt, I want you to respond to that. How many PCA stories were shared by your smoking tobacco stories were shared by the PCA this year?
None.
0 on Coop, and guess what? I think it was 0 on Half Wheel. And my answer to Luigi, and he has not responded back. If PCA promoted a Coop or Half Wheel article this year, please share the link. There was no promotion of any of our stuff by the PCA, and it's an argument we've had that, like, look, we are covering. Could you throw us a few nuggets? This is the
Listen,
one
I don't want to be.
I've
I don't.
had.
I don't want to
Yeah,
be. I don't want to be a dick right now. But Jay Davis is
Right.
being awfully quiet. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, this is not a Jay Davis issue. This is
I
not
know
a
it's
Jay
not
Davis
on
issue.
him, but he
Yeah,
is on the
this is
board
not-
of the PCA. You know.
No, and it's not something that I really have talked about with Jay. It only really came up when I read this comment, and I'm like, well, where are you seeing these stories being? I'd love to know if my stuff's being shared. But first of all, if they shared 5 of my stories of the 292, I'd be very happy. Thank you guys very much, you know. But no, there was, I'm saying, a big goose egg, Luigi. And the fact that you still haven't shared a link with me, and you made this comment 11 days ago, right? What does that tell me? I mean, you're slinging darts here with no evidence. There's nothing. You're slinging darts here, thinking that they're not doing anything for us with this. Yes, they are very helpful at us at the trade show. I don't want to say they don't do anything for us.
All right, Jay.
They're helpful at the trade show. They're helpful at the trade show. They give us time at the trade show. They're accessible at the trade show.
Roll Tide.
They're accessible before and after the trade show. They're great. But as far as the social media piece goes, they're not sharing that piece, man. I'm sorry.
You know, I got a little excited last year when the PCA posted the thing with all the media people, and I was like, "Oh wow, like we're really, we're being recognized." And then this year it was like it turned to like.
Well, I think that's because Aaron left, and I think that was a lot to do with that. And I'm willing to kind of see if they fix that next. If it's not back next year, I'll probably ask them if they can fix it. But I think I'm going to give them. They did have Aaron leave before the trade show, so.
Yeah, that is true.
But that was a big. It was a big step but that's the closest thing they've ever done for us. Our content has never been proactively shared. They do have a piece in their newsletter where you can subscribe to articles, right? But in terms of on their social media, they're not sharing that stuff. And they're not the ones subscribing to the newsletter for us. It's people who are PCA members who have to do that subscribing. It's not like it's being proactively pushed out to everybody else. But I'm like, where did you see that? Wait, this is the comment that just absolutely, I almost popped an artery when he said, what do you call it? They posted your story and you're giving you a platform to spread your writing. And I honestly, if I was 10 years older, the artery would have popped and I'd be in a grave because I was so mad when I saw that comment, right? And then I had to take a deep breath for a day. And I responded a day later saying, if PCA promoted a Cooper Half-Hour article this year, please share the link. That's the one that absolutely got my blood boiling on that one because I'm like, that was just making stuff up now because you have no basis. Believe me, it's not out there. You can go to their Instagram, their YouTube, their Facebook, Twitter. Nothing is shared from us on that stuff.
Oh boy, guys, I just want to say, stop getting Coop riled up. And I only say that because I care about him.
That was a bad comment to make.
And
that was a bad comment to make.
That was complete
there's no basis
bullshit comment is what that was. It was.
Yeah.
That was almost just like somebody trying to stir shit just to stir shit with no foundation.
I understand,
and it almost works.
Yeah, it almost worked. Look, I understood the comment about the month and a half thing. I think he had some, but I think that's the way Coop worked. This one, I just couldn't. I just couldn't. I'm like, why? Why am I even responding to this even at this point? I'm like, but it had to be said. I'm just saying, there's no truth. Again, I'm not. This is not me complaining that the PC. It is me a little complaining about the PC too. I'm not gonna lie. But again, they're not doing that. So they're not providing me this platform. If anything, they're writing stories, the same stories on their platform that we're covering on our platform. This is what we're talking about. They're not sharing our stuff. It would be too easy to share our stuff, right? Oh, that's all I'm giving Luigi tonight. But
and to what you just said, Coop, I mean, that's a thing where I think they should be sharing our stuff instead of pushing their own. But
it's
that's
so
just
easy.
my
I mean,
opinion.
Right. And look, if you don't like the way I write it, you could go with the way Smoking Tobacco writes it. If you don't like the way Half Wheel writes it, go with the way, how about that Cigar Developing Palates does it? There's different, you don't have to pick everyone the same way. And I don't expect them to share every Coop story, and they shouldn't share every media story because then it would just get too diluted. But you know what? I think some of these booth reports that the Half Wheels, the Coops, and the Smoking Tobaccos, and the Dojos, I think they're certainly worthy to be on some of these on their web pages. You know, I talked a lot. I did a whole article on the opening day thing. You know, there was nothing shared on that. I mean, I thought I presented in a very positive light too. It wasn't shared, so I don't. That's my end of my response to Luigi. I hope people could agree with, and I understand people may disagree with some of my stances on that, but when something's not factual out there and you're gonna throw that out there, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, Jay Davis looks like he's trying to get Coop to pop another artery.
And Alan is too. Alan, this is why, like, you take one step forward and you take 3 steps back. You make a really smart comment, and then you're like, let's get Coop riled up. And it's like, what did I just say? God.
This is why our industry is in the shithole it's in sometimes.
Randy Bush said Coop is bagging the hammer tonight.
Well, he has every reason to be pissed off.
I mean, when you're going to write stuff that's just not true, when you're going to comment on stuff that's not true or say something honestly that was borderline slanderous in one portion with that, I'm like, saying I don't have an ROI. I mean, where do you get this stuff from? It's like I have no problem you want to disagree with me, but when you make stuff up or just throw stuff out there.
Yeah, back it up.
You know what they say? You know what they say when you assume something, you make an ass out of you and me. It's so true.
It almost makes me think of a comment that my dad used to say when somebody would comment on something that they shouldn't have been commenting on. It's like, you're about as smart as media coverage as a groundhog is in the ass. Because you just don't know how it works. So.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, at the end of the day, this isn't the first time that
Dan's right. I've been in congressional testimony. Thank you, Dan. I guess I am big enough, right?
Yeah, this is true. What did I tell you?
I have been in congressional testimony. Yeah.
Yeah,
and FDA reports.
And we can back that up.
See, what did I say at the beginning of the show? And Coop's like, I don't know, I'm not worthy. But he's been, cited in congressional testimony. If that's not worthy, then I don't know what is. I mean, you just, you tell me. I don't know.
I mean, that goes back, Matt, to really one of the things that you said at the very beginning of the show. I can't really think of, any more people in the industry that are more well-respected as a whole in the industry as Coop. So this dude's comments are just totally unfounded, unbased, and there's nothing to support it.
For me, look, I appreciate people's feedback, and sometimes people say things I don't like, but at the same time, there is a line that can be crossed, and I don't ever want it to come. I don't, especially unsolicited. I don't know where this unsolicited kind of attack.
I think it was solicited to a point. I think he was trying to give some feedback, but then you just go, when you cross the line, you cross the line. Yeah.
I mean, I know it was kind of directed at Coop, but at the same time, I kind of, I feel like everything that was said against Coop, I mean, one could argue, I mean, that could be, I guess used against anybody in the media, right?
Those comments could be directed against anybody that isn't cigar aficionado or Half-Wheel.
So that's how I looked at it. And look, the guy it's very clear he's a Half-Wheel reader, and I encourage him to remain a Half-Wheel reader. If that's where you're feeling you're getting the best source of your information, by all means do that. This is not that's fine. Cigar Coop may not be for you. I tell that to people all the time. But I had an argument with a manufacturer in 2019 when they tried to compare me again to Half-Wheel in front of Charlie Minato, by the way, the manufacturer did it. And Charlie actually stood up for me in that thing. I'm like, look, we don't do these things the same way as Half-Wheel. Don't compare us to that. And it was over shop exclusive coverage, by the way. So because we were cutting back, that was when we started cutting back, and we pissed off a few manufacturers on it. Well, it happens.
It does, and and it's unfortunate when get into that, but it is.
Dan's right. This should have been a private. I would have happily had a private dialogue on this. And like I said, I had the two things I had the big comment, the big complaint on were the ROI, and then the idea that then you make something up that PCA is sharing our comment. And basically, you imply maybe they should stop posting your publications. No, it's not maybe. They stopped. They never did.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'd love for PCA to share our stuff too. So it's not, but it is what it is.
I look.
They're not sharing aficionado stuff either, so I'll be fair on that. So
Yeah, and that would benefit everybody. I mean, if they shared everybody's coverage as opposed to trying to do any coverage on their own, I think that would be way more beneficial, and it would it would benefit the industry as a whole. It would benefit the consumers as a whole.
I think it would benefit the economy of the industry because media makes money on their advertising and to do all their coverage and stuff like that, which in turn causes them to grow and do better things and be more powerful. And one hand washes the other; it all goes around. So that's the way I look at it. And it's unfortunate that some people think that only the two biggest publications are we all do kind of the same work, a little bit different, but some of us have been around longer than others, and I still have great respect for Charlie and Half Wheel.
Absolutely,
I know those guys personally, and they believe me, in more ways than anybody will ever know.
Yeah. Those guys
and those who
and those. Go ahead, man.
Sorry. I just in more ways than anyone will really ever know, with maybe the exception of some of the present company. Those guys have been good to us.
Yeah, they have been. They have been good to us too. Yes.
Yeah, and I won't get into how, but it doesn't matter. I have a great relationship with them, and I appreciate them. So
look, they're competitors. There's no doubt. Like they're competitors of what I do to what you do. But you know what? When I put the call out for Charlie to come on a show, and Charlie comes on, he gives us all the time we need and doesn't filter us. And Patrick just did it for us a couple weeks ago. Same thing. Patrick gave us 3.5 hours.
Great fucking show.
No, thank you. And again, so we're competitors, but you know what? When we asked them to come on, by all means, they did. I used to be a little bit of a dick about the consensus. I'm using my list, right? And I shouldn't have been. I was because but they did, right? It's okay, they did, but now I don't have any problem with it because I think I was just a little territorial on that. And I think I was out of line. But now, like I said, so obviously I've always worked now in the last few years. There was a time I couldn't get my list done in time for Charlie. And I had a conversation with him. And I said, Charlie, I will make sure that the Coop countdown is done in time for you to get it into consensus. I said, you have my handshake on that, and and believe me, it's been a challenge sometimes to get it done beforehand, but I've gotten it done for him. So he can use that list in its entirety. So, I mean, we try to, they've worked with us, we're going to work with them, and we compete with them, and that's good. I think when we compete with each other, we make each other better. So there's nothing wrong with that.
I agree. I think that's very well said.
Yeah. The humidor did get claimed, by the way. So we have a winner. And we got it out just in time. So, yeah, we got it. Yeah, so the humidor was claimed. We had it on the it's on the Coop website, yeah.
We actually have a hold on, sorry, I need to find the email. I'll do this in the background while we kind of move forward, and then I'll grab it once I'm ready. Because I have the winner of the giveaway. I haven't grabbed the email yet. Sorry, I'm all over the place now. Did you, Coop? Was there anything else on this topic that you wanted to cover?
No, that gave Luigi more than enough time on this show tonight. So.
All right.
I gave him almost a full hour, so I think.
You wanted your soapbox. I told you could have it.
No, but I think it was important.
It was well deserved. It was important.
Yeah. I wanted to make. Well, I want to make sure you got what you wanted to say.
By the way,
that's all.
I'm not. Look, Luigi, I understand there's things I may not like what you said, but I do appreciate the feedback. So don't get me wrong. So thank you for at least tuning in and caring enough to send something, which was good. But I just like I said, there were a couple areas you kind of went across the line on with, and I had to say that.
Well, I mean, my take on it is, every media source isn't everybody's cup of tea. But if you're going to criticize and like try to poke holes, at least have facts to back up what you're trying to poke holes in, other than just trying to
when I ask for something
to stir the pot with nothing to back it up.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kevin, with the other things on the docket was this is your time to shine. Last show you weren't with us because you were in Colorado for Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest. So
I was
the Rocky Mountain Cigar Industry Vacation.
The Rocky Mountain Cigar Industry Vacation.
I'll get to that a little later, Kevin. Go ahead. I want you to talk. I have a comment on this.
So
it's not related to you, by the way. It's not related to you.
So Smoke and Tobacco had boots on the ground at Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest, and Kevin was the representative, and he is going to give us a recap of the event.
Yeah, I mean that show. I mean, if you've never been to it, it's definitely one of those shows that you need to go to. You know, like my top two in the industry, at least for me, are the Great Smoke. You know, hosted by Abe DeBobna and Smoke Inn down in West Palm, and Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest. I mean, it's set, at the Omni Hotel in Broomfield, Colorado. It's adjacent to a country club. It's an outdoor event. And it's just, the setting is nice. Haven't really ran into anything bad with weather. Our friends over at Dojo, they have some events leading up to it that are, just as important as probably maybe even more fun than the event itself. But it's an experience, to go there. They do things a little bit different at Rocky Mountain, instead of having to get a ticket and go to each vendor and get your cigars and whatnot. When you get your ticket, depending on if you're, general admission, a VIP, or they even have a level called executive VIP, which they only have 50 tickets for. When you show up, you get your ticket, they hand you all your cigars in a bag right there. So you have the time. You can make the rounds. You can see the vendors that you want to see. You can talk to people you want to see. All the cigar celebrities are there. From the vendors, if there's a celebrity tied to a particular brand, chances are they're going to be there. So you have FaceTime with them, and it's just an all around. It's an excellent time.
Coop, go ahead. I know you have something you want to say.
So this is, it's kind of funny, Kevin. The Dojo does this, I guess, brewery tour on Friday.
Yeah, we did not participate in that.
Oh, you did not participate in that?
We did not go on the brewery tour.
By the way, I love Eric and his guys. I have no interest in going on a brewery tour, just so you know. Just not my really, I'd rather be smoking cigars somewhere, right?
Me too.
But the funny thing was, and I kind of made a poke the bear comment to Terrence on this.
Uh-oh.
And there was a picture of all these manufacturers on this brewery tour. And my question was, well, there's not a lot of cigars getting sold in Colorado today, I guess. Because I was just shocked how many people were from the industry were on that tour and not trying to visit shops on a Friday. I was completely surprised about that. Some companies did do that. I know that. But there were plenty that didn't. And I got shit for that. And it was kind of meant to be in jest, but and I get people need a day off, and even from the industry and stuff. But I was like, I almost like, wow, look at all these people in the industry not working on Friday, So
I will say that a lot of the guys that did go on the brewery tour, I mean, they show up to town, earlier in the week, and they make the rounds of the cigar lounges.
Okay, that's a fair comment. Yeah.
Prior to the events, I mean, you got guys, they start on Monday, hitting the shops in town, and anybody that's tied in or associated with the event or any of the local B&Ms that are supporting the event, they're there. They have events. Nick Malolo. I mean, he's not on the beer tour, but I mean, he has an event every Friday, leading up to that. But I mean, I know, Mickey Peg was on that tour. Terrence was on that tour. I know those guys made an effort to get out to the shops prior to.
That's important. Yeah. So I'm a little jest ahead with that. Yeah. I had a little guess. I mean, I totally see where you're coming from, and especially, I mean, a chance to pick on Terrence. Why not, right? But easily.
Mickey,
I don't want to pick on.
They definitely put the effort in. I mean, we have smoked cigars with those guys, in the days leading up to, because I mean, we've gotten to town prior as well, because Dojo has their event on Thursday, and then they have now the Flavor Odyssey Brewery tour on Fridays, and it's kind of become a thing. But those guys, the stars of the industry, they make their way around to the lounges and make an appearance prior to that, especially if they're going to participate.
Yeah, Eric every year does call me and say, hey, just to give me a heads up that he is doing the show Thursday night because of the schedule, and he's done at least the last 3 or 4 years in a row, and he did call me this year. But what was interesting is the last 2 years, I didn't have a show that night because I was dealing with day job stuff. I was in California 2 years ago, and I was in Boston last year, Matt. That was right when I saw you.
Yep.
This year, I did have a show. I had Patrick on, but he did call me. And I thought it was nice. He didn't have to. Like I said, it was a one-time thing. He does that on, and he gave me the courtesy on that. And I got to thank him for that. That's a good thing on that. We did pretty well with the Patrick show that night, so I'm not complaining. So numbers-wise, we had great numbers and everything. So it was. But yeah, it was. I thought it was a good courtesy that he did that. That was a nice. He didn't have to do that, by the way. So I thank him.
Yeah, and then from like the smoke and tobacco standpoint, obviously I was there. People know that I'm associated with Smoke and Tobacco. I mean, that was, I look at that as that's Cigar Dojo's hometown. That's Eric's stomping ground. So I mean, I wasn't going to do anything to, disrespect or anything for Cigar Dojo, as well as Emmett from Blind Man's. That's their hometown. That's their event. So, I went, supported Dojo, supported Blind Man's. That's what we're there for. We're there to have a good time and just enjoyed. Kind of just went as as a non-industry affiliate that knows everybody.
Yeah, I think I would do it more. Like I would be in the same boat with that if I went. It's just been a schedule thing. Why I really want to go there, but I agree. I don't think I would intrude on them and do a set up a booth. I don't think I would set up a booth. They've offered a booth to me, but I don't think I would do that. It's just again, it's kind of the home base. Let the home base guys take advantage of that. I get plenty of advantages in South Florida and stuff. And honestly, it's a lot of work too after PCA. So I would go probably as an observer. Observer? I said that wrong.
Observer?
But usually I do it like observer.
You said observer.
I got a sore on my lip that I've killed.
Yeah.
But but like I'll tend to maybe write like a post-game report or something on that. That's just kind of how I'll do it. It's like I'm going out to Micallef next week, and I'm probably gonna write something up on that. Just because I think it's a unique event, and I'm pretty excited to kind of share what that event's like. And there's a bunch of other events that go on before the actual open house, so I think it's going to be pretty interesting to do that. But most of the time, like I said, as far as like when I take the camera crew and stuff out, there's not a lot of times we do that now anymore. PCA is probably the one we do, and maybe one other one a year we'll do, and that's about it.
One of the unique aspects too of Rocky Mountain, and I mean, again, my friends over at Dojo, their pre-parties or their pre-events, it's a good opportunity for guys like us to be able to sit with all the industry people and sit and bullshit, and it's not about the industry.
I haven't gone.
You can sit, drink beer and goof around and eat barbecue and play cornhole and just have a good time and. Let set work aside.
Yeah, no, we had and but Paul, I have not gone. It's just been a schedule thing. We had something in the East right around the same time as Rocky Mountain. It was called the Chattanooga Tweet Up, which became the Chattanooga Cigar Festival, and it was kind of the same. It was a very unique event, and that was for a long time. That would take place in early August, and it was kind of like it was at this place called Burns Tobacconist, and they had a cigar shop connected to a pool hall, which had a restaurant in it, and an outdoor patio. And it was kind of like going to a mini cigar resort almost in a lot of ways. And all the manufacturers would come in for 3 days, and there'd be events and raffles, and they'd have dinners and excursions and stuff. And it was great. But there was an owner. I guess the owner of the pool hall and the owner of the cigar shop had a split, and then they really couldn't have the event anymore. But that was a great event. It was exactly what you said, Kevin. That type of vibe, and it was kind of like just kicking back for 3 days. Except the reps actually really did work. They worked the humidors pretty hard there, so they did work on that. I don't, but I know they work on Saturdays at the main event because there is selling that goes on at that event, right? Right, Kevin?
Yeah, there's definitely something that goes on at the event. It's handled by and the name just totally I just do
Smoker friendly.
Blank. Smoker friendly. Yeah, it's handled by Smoker
yeah,
friendly.
Yeah, they're great folks, by the way. Great folks.
They handle all the sales. It's a cashless event, so they handle all the credit, and they actually have a rep in each booth to ring up your purchases. One of the benefits of it, they absorb the tax at the event, which Colorado's kind of a tax-heavy state.
I didn't know that.
I mean, that's actually a big benefit as a consumer. So you're paying retail kind of for the cigars, but you're not paying the inflated taxes and whatnot on it. So you actually still get a quote unquote event price on the cigar. So there's still deals to be had from everybody that takes the time and spends the money to go there.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Did you when you went, did you do a regular package or a VIP package? I know they had different tiers. What package did you end up taking?
This year, when I actually I had intended to buy, because in the past I had been executive VIP, and when you do executive VIP, basically you get roughly 150 cigars, and then you get Drew Estate. Drew Estate provides swag. So, I mean, I've got, a couple of the skateboard decks and some Drew Estate artwork and stuff in the lounge here, that's unobtainium to consumers. So, I mean, that's their highest level. They limit that to 50 tickets. It also includes all your alcohol and your food. Then they have VIP level that has, it's 50 to 75 cigars. You have a VIP tent and tables and everything to send in. Then you have the general admission. They get you in, and then they have a social pass that just gets you in the door. They also have a VIP social pass that allows you access to the VIP area. It just doesn't come with the cigars or any of the other perks of the regular VIP admission. So this year, it's sold out literally. Like the VIP, the executive VIP sold out in like 45 seconds. The VIP social sold out in less than 5 minutes. So we missed out. So this was the first year that we weren't VIP level, so we ended up having just a regular social pass. So VIP, you get in the event an hour early, so it's not nearly as crowded as as when you come in for the regular general admission. So VIP level is definitely worth the price.
Nice. I mean, I when I go to the smoke, and they comped us as media very generously, and they do give me a ticket book. I usually don't even use the ticket book though in that case, because usually the media people are getting cigars anyway. Although I did give my ticket book to the coalition team this year to split it up. So but yeah, normally I just I would probably be just happy just going in there and mingling, to be honest with you. But it is a good way to get a lot of cigars. I was talking to someone who went previous. I think it was a guy from Simply Stogies who went, and he said it's a great event, and he just gets a lot of just getting the cigars is kind of like Abe's event. Same thing. Just getting the cigars is more than worth the ticket alone.
Oh, 100%. Especially this one. I mean, the executive VIP, I think this year it was $600, and I mean, when you figure in the cigars you get VIP, you get a lighter and a cutter and a backpack. Executive VIP, you get a higher quality lighter, a higher quality cutter, and another backpack, plus some additional swag. Like I think like when I went last year, we got a whiskey sampler from one of the Colorado brewing companies, and some just assorted knickknacks and doodads. But it is 100% worth the price of admission. I mean, you figure some of the cigars in the bag are $20 plus cigars. So I mean, it's 100% worth the price.
That's good.
Yeah, there's a lot of those events, and because we have anyone who's been on the website probably knows, it's actually one of the most trafficked pages on our website, believe it or not. But we do try we do try to keep a list of events to happen.
Oh, that event page that you did. I remember you talking about that.
Yeah, we do our best to keep it as updated as we can. But that page actually gets a lot of traffic, and going through that and looking for events to add to it, from time to time. There's a lot of like cigar fests, by city that sell. There's a lot of like a week. There's Atlanta Cigar Week. There's is there Charlotte Cigar Week? Is that a whole week?
We have 2 events. We have Charlotte Cigar Week and Queen City Cigar Week.
That's right.
I've never been.
Wow.
I've never gone to either. I've never gone to either of them. Just so you know, and it's not because I didn't want to. It's scheduling stuff.
I know, like
Yeah.
today is it the Kansas City Cigar Festival was like today or this weekend? There's a lot of them, and I didn't realize like how many of those like little cigar festivals, like Rocky Mountain, Kansas City, there's Atlanta, they're all over the country.
Yeah.
I think there's some in Texas. There's, let me go to the website. Let me see what.
I mean, they're great ways to get out there and see, multiple
Yeah, Matt,
vendors.
you got
I mean,
a nice list here. I'm looking at this. Yeah.
Mhm.
If you haven't seen it, go to Smoke and Tobacco /cigar-industry-events. You got a very nice listing here. This is a good job. For the rest of the year, you got all the major events here.
Oh yeah, and we've even started building the list. Yeah, Kansas City Cigar Festival was today. Atlanta Cigar Week starts on Monday. You get Inner Tobacco in Dortmund, Germany, which is an industry event. You get the New England Cigar
You go
Expo.
into 2024. Yeah, that's coming up later this month.
Yeah, Dan Davison from United Cigars will be on the Smoke and Tobacco show on Wednesday to talk a little bit more about it. But yeah, we get it the rest of the year, and then we got next year. We got a decent amount of stuff. I mean, we got then you get the major festivals: Puro Sabor, Habano, Festival del Habano, Pro Cigar, Great Smoke, San Antonio Cigar Festival.
Smokelahoma, yeah.
Yeah, Smokelahoma on there. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Smokelahoma, I may try to go to next year. I've been trying to. I want to go to that one. I've heard good things about Smokelahoma.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
I know the guy who runs the event too. Yeah. Todd
I know
runs
one
the event
that
that
the Barb and I have been wanting to look into is the Cigar Heritage Festival in Ybor. I think it's in December.
That's always a tough one for me to go to because it's birthday weekend in our house when they have it. So
Yeah, for us, it's a scheduling thing. It's time off work, and then we typically are head to Ohio for holiday with the family and stuff, and just taking a cigar trip on top of that. It's just too much.
Yeah, and in January we get into a big season of trips. So, and the way my day job works is it's a April 1st to March 31st year, so it's a little different. So so but I have been wanting to go to Tampa as well, because I've been I've heard, and that event's really grown in the last few years. But it's always, like I said, December, and it's also a big birthday weekend in our house. So we have multiple birthdays that weekend. So
yeah, we took time to go up to Ybor. We went down to Great Smoke early last year, and we went down 4 days early and spent a couple of days up in Tampa, and that was my first time really, like, since being in the cigar world, to spend time in Tampa, and that was actually really cool. So we definitely
I have not been to Tampa probably in 2 years since we did the KMA show. So I'm kind of overdue to get back to Tampa for sure. Yeah, I'm definitely anxious to get back to Tampa. And like I said, we didn't do our Orlando vacation this year. So
that's right. Yeah, you guys normally do that.
Well, the house got sold. We used to rent. We didn't buy it.
Yeah.
So that's why the Tennessee vacation next month is kind of like, but it's not going to be family. It's between my wife and I. We're going to take that one. So we may have one of our sons meet us there over the weekend, but that's about it. So that's good. I do really want to get to Rocky Mountain. That is a goal of mine. Now with PCA moving, that's going to help. Although, if I go to Inner Tobacco next year, it may be a challenge. But so, I opted Micallef this year because I've been putting Micallef off for this is I said I put him off a couple of years, right? I said I really want to go. So and plus, we have Bear down there, who's a big Jay Davis, who's become a very good friend as well. So I'll spend some time with Bear, which I don't get a lot of FaceTime with him throughout the year. So it's a good opportunity.
Yeah, it'd be fun to go down and spend some time with our friends from Micallef.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard. I mean, Bear was saying great things about the event. He went last year. So I said, I think this year I'm gonna try to do it. And by the way, I'm driving out there. I'm not flying.
You're driving to Texas?
I'm driving to Texas. I'm leaving Tuesday. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I have other things I'm gonna be stopping along the way for, but yeah. I'll get to Texas probably
Whataburger.
Thursday. No. I mean, Whataburger will be. Well, no. There's something bigger than Whataburger.
I gotta stop along the way. I gotta go to Whataburger.
David's Burgers in Arkansas is a much stop. Even Alan Rubin listens to me about David's Burgers. It's a great hamburger place in the Little Rock area. But no, I'm actually doing other business, non-cigar related, on the way. So.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, Alan said William Cooper also gets to see me at the open house. Oh, I'm sure that's gonna be the highlight of the event.
I'm gonna have security.
Security.
I have a security crew coming in.
What, Bear and Ben?
Don't bother.
A couple of
Ben,
bouncers. Please, sir, stay away from Coop. They kind of are. They kind of are, though.
Listen,
Bear and Ben.
They have those guys have my back.
I know they do.
And Nielsen's not a short guy either, so.
I mean, I know for a fact they're pretty protective of you, and I have to give them props for that. They're good.
Well, they're very loyal guys. I appreciate it. Yeah. But yeah, Ben and I will be doing the road trip down to another road trip down to Miami. The last one was the Smokemobile we had. So we'll see if we could top the Smokemobile. Smokemobile 2 will top it this time.
The speaking of Micallef, let's read off our giveaway winner.
Am I eligible to win this?
I
didn't enter though. I didn't enter, so.
No,
okay.
You're not eligible.
I'm not eligible. Okay. I just wanted to check.
I
Good
mean,
man.
It wouldn't be right.
No. No, it wouldn't.
All right. So, for those who entered, and by the way, right after I announce this, I'm going to announce our next giveaway, which will be with Drew Estate. So, stay tuned for that. So, for the Micallef Black Toros, a 1-box, rated 91 on SmokyTobacco.com by the man all the way to the right, or my right. I don't know. I don't know if the lineup's the same on the other end. I don't know. But it's not Coop. So, the winner will be Tim McCabe. Tim, congratulations. You have just
Congratulations, Tim.
You've just won a box of Micallef Black Toros. Awesome. Those are some good cigars.
A full box, right?
Full box.
All right. Nice.
That's not
Of
the
the
one
Toro?
I stole a couple out of, right?
Toro. Yep.
Yeah, I like the Toro. That's the size I like.
I think
yeah.
the Toro is the better size.
That's why I like better. No, they're both great, but I like the Toro size a lot.
They are. But I think the Toro, at least for me,
the Toro's money in that. I mean, I've smoked them both. I rated the Toro 91. The Robusto would not have scored as well. I mean, I think my take with the Robusto is it just develops too fast. It's still a good cigar. It just doesn't give you the full experience that the Toro does.
Yeah, I actually finished the review schedule for the year. So Micallef Black is getting reviewed before the October 31st date. Which basically, it was eligible. It has to come out before the trade show to be eligible, and it came out before the trade show, so it's eligible. So, but it did make the review schedule. And by the way, for people asking, next year I'm keeping the same concept. July 1st will be the cutoff for releases when it released, but it has to be reviewed before October 31st. Because I don't want a cigar coming out October 30th and suddenly climbing the list fast. So that's why I have that. The way I do it is there's a cutoff a few months earlier when it has to be released. So.
Okay, fair.
Yep.
I was going to announce. So congratulations to Tim. I'll get with him after the show. I'll send him an email and let him know. I don't know if he's watching or whatnot. But we have another giveaway that's going to go live this week, and that's going to be with our friends at Drew Estate. They have some really cool stuff. I'm just trying to find the list. I had it in front of me. Where the hell is it? I just had it. Is it an email? Oh, there it is. So, 3 separate winners. This is not all one winner. We're gonna break this up. It's gonna be 3 winners for 3 different items, And Drew Estate has been gracious enough to partner with us on this. Fantastic. Can't say enough about them. They've just been wonderful to us, and we're excited to do this with them. One of the items is a Undercrown desktop humidor, which will be up for grabs. The other will be an Undercrown 10 ceramic ashtray. And finally, an H99 Liga Privada ceramic ashtray. So those 3 different items.
Very nice.
3 different items, 3 different winners. That will go live this week. Probably the same format. There'll be a listing put up on the website. You'll have to go there and comment with your name and your email address, and a winner will be randomly. 3 random winners will be selected, and then we'll get in touch with you, when it's over, and let you know. We'll get with Drew Estate, and Drew Estate will be shipping it to you, and Tim, just Micallef will be shipping this to you directly. So I will let them know your information, and they will get with you, and they'll ship that out to you. And the same will go for this one. These will be sent out by Drew Estate, so just a shout out to them, and stay tuned for an update on that. Like I said, that'll be going out in probably the next couple of days. So that's that. Just wanted to do the giveaways really quickly. I didn't forget this time, Coop.
No, that's good. I wasn't gonna let you forget this time, though.
Speaking of giveaways, Matt, I know back at the beginning of the show, my good friend Chad thanked us for he received his J.C. Newman ashtray. So he thanked us.
Boy, that guy wins more contests on anybody.
He's
like
like
king. He wins a lot of our contests, and he wins them. He always wins them. Yeah, fair and square too.
Super lucky.
Super. Yeah, he does a great job. And first of all, he always participates, and I thank that as well. And
yeah,
it pays off for him when you participate. It pays off. Yeah.
Yeah, I've had people ask me before about stuff like even like the fundraiser.
Oh, Cigar Warehouse and Cigar Box, great places. I just love those.
Mm-hmm.
That was on the Jose Blanco tour. I went with those.
You mean the chauffeur tour?
Yeah, the driving Mr. Blanco tour, driving the Professor tour.
You guys should have filmed that, like comedians in cars doing coffee. That would have.
Oh, that would have been hilarious.
The Jerry Seinfeld.
I offered to do this for Jose every year, by the way. So, we'll see what happens. But I did offer to do it next, in the spring.
See, now next year you can have Barb and I drive, but the both of you around, then you can be a celebrity.
Yeah,
too.
no, come on. You should come. Yeah, I mean, sure, it'd be fine. Then we have the local touch with that, which would be great. Yeah. But that was planned. I didn't know that was happening until the morning. That morning, actually. So
when Jose called, just said, "Coop, what are you doing? You busy today? I want to get together.
Let's go see the Fry guys. Let's go see the Fry boys." He goes.
I know you guys made Roger's day when you went to Cigar.
Oh, Roger was such a great.
He was
I tell you
so happy about that.
What a humidor! By the way, if you haven't gone to Cigar Warehouse and their humidor is unbelievable. And they were so nice to us there. But yeah, there's a lot of great stuff in that humidor. It's one of the best humidors I've been to in Vegas. So
1,500 square foot humidor.
Yeah, something for everybody. I mean, something for everybody in there.
Yeah, yep. If you can't find it, it probably doesn't exist.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? There was something else we wanted to talk about tonight that I know came across from the boys. The announcement that came down that Joe Groh would be leaving Quality Importers to go work for Casa de Monte Cristo.
Yep.
Which is an interesting move. He has.
Yeah, I was surprised when I read that.
He seemed really. I don't. You don't know what goes on, but he just seemed really into the role at QI, and I know he how long's he been there, Coop? Like just over a year?
Exactly a year.
Because
okay. Actually, the announcement that he was going to QI happened a year ago. I didn't read too much into this other than Joe got another opportunity in his career to move somewhere else.
Yeah, good for him.
Which happens, and it's good for him. It's nothing. It nothing. I had to make sure I got that big humidor out before he left. That was so that was weird because we had a little problem with that, like claiming the prize, and then the person claimed it got to me too. They didn't get to me till the other person got it. So, but I had to get that out. So, but no, I looked at it as a good opportunity for Joe. I think Casa de Monte Cristo is a great brand under the Tobacco Area USA umbrella. He'll do really well there. I've dealt with some of the other marketing people in Casa de Monte Cristo and JR and Altadis, and I think it'll be a good move for him. And like I said, sometimes opportunities just come, and I think this was an opportunity for him more than any. I don't think there's any more to read into this than that.
He's one of the more personable guys in the industry for sure. So I'm sure he's going to be successful no matter where he lands.
Yep.
And I mean, he's going to. This is a great opportunity for him.
Yeah. Yep. No. So we'll miss him. I mean, one thing that Joe did really good for us. He really helped us get connected into the quality importers really well. So
likewise.
The good news is, yeah. So I feel like I can. We even got. We had Giordano on. I mean, Joe got us Giordano, which was the first and only time he ever did a podcast at this point. So we were very grateful for that. So he helped us really navigate the landscape, and we have a lot of connections in there. So I'm grateful for Joe for that. And I know Giannini for a long time. So, I have friends in there, but Joe was very helpful because there were years, they were a tough company to crack years ago because they just didn't have people in these types of roles. If you go back 5 years ago, really after Zycar came in, they had to start having more marketing type of presence, and they've done a good job with that. So I think they're in a better place with him, after him being there, and I think Joe's going to do great where he's going. So good for Joe. Congratulations, good friend, as he moves his career forward.
Yeah, good for him. Congrats to Joe.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
Joe.
I'm not going to be redundant. I love Joe. He's one of my favorite people in the industry. Excited to see where it goes. Hey.
Yeah. My joke to Joe was, are you going to now get a Casa de Monte Cristo cigar on the consensus? That was my.
That's a good one. I like that.
I would seriously watch that. Because look, I'm not gonna. Joe found a way to work that consensus when he was at Drew State very well. So Drew State, Drew State lands on the consensus every year, but obviously they had some really high ones the last few years. So.
Sorry, there was something I was looking for. Maybe I didn't tell you guys about it.
No. What did you tell?
I know there was one other thing that I really wanted to bring up this week, and let me bring this up as I pass through here because actually I think this is worth mentioning. Actually,
it's not food related.
No. Did we want to? Or did someone actually? Was it about? I feel like we talked. I don't know. Maybe someone said it to me individually. I don't know. I thought someone mentioned something about talking about Miami Cigar and the CAA thing. No.
I thought someone did.
I thought someone did.
I didn't mention it, but we could talk about it because I think it's actually a very newsworthy story.
Yeah, I thought we talked about because I was looking for that. And I'm like, didn't someone say that? I thought we were talking about this.
Yeah. I didn't get the story up till this afternoon because I was busy, but yeah, it's up on Coop. Then basically it's no big deal. They joined the Cigar Association of America. Is really what the story is.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was a good move for them.
Yeah, there's been a couple of association moves. There was that, and then Tony Gomez from La Flor Dominicana was appointed to the cigar
on a CRA. Yeah, that's a great move. I think
that's an awesome move.
And
we talked about that on KMA this morning too. I think it was and you and I, all of us know Tony, and he's an exceptional person. And I think he'll be a great addition to the CRA. By the way, they could use him for sure. So.
And I've already reached out to Tony privately and expressed some concerns that I had. Not everything, but some. I mean, we've expressed some concerns about the CRA, and I know Tony, and I said, hey, congrats, but as a guy who I know and I like, these are some of the concerns I have, and I shared that with Tony, and hopefully he can kind of help bring that to the forefront. The CRA, because it's no secret, the CRA has had a couple of issues. That we've talked about on the show. Coop, I know you know that more than probably anybody.
I've actually had a couple conversations with CRA in the last couple weeks. And I feel positive, a little more positive. Yeah, I've been busy, but yeah, I've talked to Mike Copperman, and to Cody. So I mean, they know my concerns is what I'm just going to say. I can't say anything's being done yet about it, but they know a lot of the concerns. I basically relayed the concerns I had to them. Mike Copperman had reached out. Remember when that whole thing came up about the memes?
Oh,
we
yeah,
went
with Harrison sharing
went to-
memes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now, yeah, but if you remember, Mike reached out to both of us. But when Mike reached out to me, that was when my dad had passed away. I never got back to him on it, but they had reached back out to me finally, and and I told him, he was totally understanding why I didn't get back, and I just forgot to get back to him after that. But I just basically I relayed my concerns to them. So, and it's a lot of concerns we've talked about here. The question is what's going to happen. I don't know. So we'll see. I think they were understanding and sympathetic to the concerns I have.
Wow.
But I think they've also done some good work. I think their work has not been noticed because they haven't communicated it very well. I think they have done some good things in the last year. Especially some of the stuff with the court case and everything. You got to give them credit on it. And so yeah, I just think they need to kind of get. They don't have. The problem is, Matt, they haven't had an executive director for almost 3 years. I mean,
Yeah, and their communication hasn't been the best. They need to have better communication.
No, and something got lost after Glenn Loop left. Did you have Smoking Tobacco when Glenn Loop was still there or no?
What are you asking me?
Was Glenn Loop still the executive director when you started Smoking Tobacco?
Yes.
Okay.
Smoking Tobacco started in 2019, so yeah, he was still
okay. So he left in 2020, I believe.
Yep. It was during the pandemic.
Okay. Yeah. But basically when he was at CRA, okay, we had really good access to CRA. And I know Glenn sometimes is a controversial figure, but I'll say this: we always had communication with Glenn Loop. We always had that, and it got lost. And I think they know it got lost. I think they're trying to fix that, which is good. So,
well, hopefully. I mean, like I said to Tony, privately, like, hey, there are a couple of things here, and it'd be nice to see someone, especially a fresh face. Who's going to come in and bring ideas to the table, like, hey, these are some of the things as a paying member and as a member of, somewhat of a member of the industry, right? I like to think I operate around. I hear things, I see things, I do things. Hey, this is kind of like some of the things I think to just think about, and he appreciated that, and hopefully it goes somewhere because I mean at the end of the day, it's like the PCA. We pay dues. We pay to be members of those organizations, and why not have your voice heard if you're a paying member?
Yep. But the Miami cigar addition to the CAA, I had heard it already happened a few weeks ago. It just got announced this week, but yeah, I had heard, and they have, who's on the CAA? You have Swisher, you have Drew Estate. It makes a lot of sense that Miami, with Tatiana, a huge brand, that they align with that. I know I'm not going to get into some of the politics between the organizations, but nonetheless, the CAA has board members that are very focused on that piece. So maybe they felt more. I don't know. I don't know what their positions is with the other trade organization. I'm not going to try to answer that. But, they went there, and I think there's a reason why they went there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Alan said, I feel Miami joined CAA due to the fact they are more supportive of infused cigars.
I don't want to say that the PCA isn't or is, but I will say is that, they have a lot of stakeholders very involved with the CAA on that side, which is, I think, why they went. Yeah. So I don't want to say, and for folks who don't know, the CAA is a manufacturers organization. That's what that one. Like if you want to oversimplify it, CRA is for the consumers, even though manufacturers run it. PCA is for retailers, even though some manufacturers are on the board. And CAA is primarily for the manufacturers, but they do have retailers and other roles on there as well. So Miami joined as a distributor, as opposed to a manufacturer, because that's what they really are. They're a distributor. They don't have a factory or anything like that. So their company is primarily a distribution company.
Very true.
I think with the legislative wins that we've seen this year, that you're going to see a little bit more support across the board of all the trade organizations.
Yeah, I mean, I would really love to see some kumbaya happen, where these three just get together and just figure this out and just get on the same page. It's I don't. I'd like to see that. I'm not comfortable if it's going to happen. But yeah, I think them going in 3 different directions isn't going to help us either.
Coop,
No.
do you think that? So I had a conversation with someone about. I had mentioned when the Judge Mehta ruling came down, and all of those organizations sent out an email. All 3 of them did. They all sent out a thing like, "Oh, look at the work that we did."
Right.
I had made a comment that and it wasn't saying that one did more than the other. It was just everyone kind of took credit. I know that probably some did more than others, but it just kind of came across like everyone was saying that they took credit, and it would have been nice if someone was like, "Hey, we worked together on this." And the response I was given was, "Well, the truth is, it was I know what you're saying, but the truth is that basically the CRA did most of the work, and the others didn't." And I wasn't involved in everything that went on there, but it just seemed look, I know some probably did more in other areas than others, in some areas than others, but what is your opinion on it? Do you think that was 90% the CRA and the PCA just kind of showed up with a sign? I don't know how to kind of take that.
Yeah.
I always felt like the PCA seemed pretty involved in a lot of that stuff. I mean, we talked to
I
the
think
people
a
over
lot
there.
of it is. Yeah, I know there's been a lot of questions on monies, and I can't comment because I don't know what monies were spent on what. I've heard things one way or another. There's obviously a group of manufacturers that feel they foot a lot of the bill, so I'm certainly, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm not trying to dismiss,
Sure,
but I don't want to say PCA didn't do anything. They were, they've obviously spent a lot of resources too on things.
I thought so. Yeah.
Yeah, I usually just when I reported, I just basically said the industry's more divided now than when the lawsuit started, and that's kind of where I'm going to leave it, and I'll let them kind of point the fingers as to why on that, because I don't have the numbers in front of me to qualify it, so I'm just going to, whatever people say, I'll just nod my head and, understand, but there's 2 sides to every story too, so I'm just kind of playing a little bit of Switzerland here for a reason, because I just don't have the facts in front of me to really report that.
That's fair, and I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. I just
but I think
there
there's a clear division over who there's clear division right now.
Which is
no question about it.
Which is disappointing, because it just
to Alan's point this up now, it says the industry organizations need to be united. It's 100%. It's if you guys set a common goal and everybody attacks the same goal, with the money and the resources that all these organizations have, I mean, there's more wins to be afoot, legislatively going forward if everybody, pick a goal and go for it. I mean, you can have multiple goals, but everybody needs to have the same direction or it's not going to work.
Yeah, I thought the one that was really more mind-boggling than the court case one was when everyone went up to the Cigar Congressional Caucus. And you read the 3 different press releases, one from the CRA, one from the PCA, and then one from the BCA, and all 3 of them basically claimed to drive the whole meeting. So, my favorite. All I know is I saw one BCA post where they were taking pictures from Kevin McCarthy's office. And I'm like, well, there's no Kevin McCarthy in there, and I believe Kevin McCarthy wasn't even in Washington that week. So I'm like, what are you guys doing here? I mean, you and Kevin. Come on, If you're with Kevin McCarthy, get a picture with Kevin McCarthy. Get a quote from Kevin McCarthy. Don't say you're in Kevin McCarthy's office like you did. It was very misleading. I thought that happened. So.
Oh, I agree.
Come on. I mean, that's just. I think it's nice you're in Kevin McCarthy's office. I mean, but be honest here and just say if you met with him, say you met with him. If you didn't, I don't know if they met or didn't meet with him, right? But if they met with him, say you met with him. You don't have to give all the details. Just say you met with him,
Yeah. No, I agree.
It's not
the first time that they've posted stuff.
No,
that's
I mean,
just
but in fairness,
like,
it's not just the BCA who's done that either. So I don't want to totally pick on them.
No, but they tend to somewhat frequently.
I know. They've gotten better this year at least.
They did.
They
got better, but
they had one bump earlier in the year, but otherwise they've been much more organized this year.
They've gotten better.
I don't want to pick on them.
They've gotten better. I made a comment on their on their thing recently about some of the stuff, and they kind of got butthurt about it. But I'm like, well, I mean,
They get butthurt because they write these statements without like vetting them. I mean, that's another one. You're gonna a trade, if you're a trade organizer, you can't just throw stuff. Sometimes we get on the PCA for slowness, right? But you know what? At least when they put something out there, it's vetted.
yeah.
So yeah, that's my point. Yeah.
I don't want to pick on the BCA, but it just I've seen a handful, maybe a little more of things, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know, but and that's why I do what I do, because I comment on what happens in the industry, and that's my job. So
yeah.
Sorry, I know not everyone agrees, but whatever.
Hey, it's not all sunshine and roses, but
yeah.
at least the information gets out there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Coop, was there anything that we didn't mention that you wanted to mention on the show tonight? Because I think that's everything I had.
I think that's everything I had too. That's all I had this week.
Yeah, I think we covered. I mean, I know that you had your stuff you wanted to cover, and I know we.
I took a lot of time with that, but I thought it was important. So.
No. I don't think that you took. No, whatever you wanted to say is what you wanted to say.
No, you took the amount of time that it took to cover the topic. Period.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You should know. Sometimes things take more time. It is what it is. But anyway, so yeah, I think that'll be our show then this week. This was a nice solid 2 hours. Last week I know we went like 3.5, but there was a lot to cover. But
Yep.
I'll do it. So thank you to everyone for watching and listening. Just a shout out once again to Drew Estate and Gurkha for being sponsors of the show, as well as ST Dupont. Congratulations to Tim on that box of Micallef Black. I will message him after the show. And stay tuned for our announcement for our Drew Estate giveaway. Like I said, they'll go out in a couple of days. It'll probably be around the same criteria. Thank you for watching with us now. If you're listening to us later on the podcast networks, thank you. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you're not. Everywhere you can get your podcasts, on all the podcast apps. Subscribe to us there. And as always, visit smokeandtobacco.com for more news, reviews, and updates from the cigar industry. Wednesday night, we have Dan Davison coming on the Smoke and Tobacco Show to talk about the New England Cigar Expo. And maybe a little bit about United. We'll see. See if he's got anything to share with us on that front. Other than that, take care, everybody. Have a great night. Keep it lit.